45 seconds of goddamn 4 f***ing logos. This may qualify as the laziest character intro I've ever seen. Oh hey, I'm driving along a cliff-ass road and just saw an oncoming truck, but Taylor Swift's casual, sexy, cool vibe tells me this is the perfect time to turn my back to the road and build something out of Lincoln logs in my back seat. God, she's on her phone. This isn't a movie, it's a distracted driving PSA. Just like Hollywood, of course, this girl wrecks due to natural phenomena, and not her completely death-worthy, unsafe driving. I seriously doubt a driver this reckless would be wearing a seatbelt in the first place. Yep, she's still alive, and that's some bullshit. And after all that, she's able to move around pretty normally, with no sign of anything being broken or severe head trauma. She was thrown to the back of the car, and I'm pretty sure I saw her whack her head on the steering wheel. All things considered, this situation worked out pretty well for her. With all that spinning around, she still landed right next to her cell phone so she could call for help. The filmmakers have found another way to avoid clever character introductions by just simply having someone interview them.
So, what's the biggest difference between rescuing over there and what you do here?
Not getting shot at.
What the f***, lady? He's cute? Go for it, but the information he conveyed actually suggests intelligence, not idiocy. Are you even listening, or are you just making doodles? Natalie was also able to climb up the car from the trunk without it moving or coming loose.
I'm not feeling very well.
Coincidental landmass shifts.
We're coming to get you, okay?
Okay.
Why even call her at all? Helicopter rescues predate cell phone technology by decades. Did she really need a conversation to verify that the fire department helicopter hovering above her was there to save her? You're probably expecting me to send this absolutely ridiculous helicopter maneuver that seems to defy the laws of physics, and I will. But even if it was possible, as soon as the helicopter got close enough to the cliff to start weed-whacking the foliage, it would surely lose balance and careen into this crevasse with the SUV containing the indestructible teenage girl, right? Just how in the ever-loving did this car manage to fall to this point and then f***ing stop?
We got 5 minutes max.
But why? Also, if the engine's going to fail in 5 minutes, how are they going to get back? When they crash, hopefully the LAFD will send a more responsible rescue team to bail them out.
Good thing I only need 3.
And look at super confident Joby over here. Just 3 seconds ago, he was perplexed about not being able to use the basket. Now I'm afraid he might decide not to use the rope because he thinks he's that awesome.
No, Natalie, do not move.
Oh, so now it's super critical that Natalie doesn't move. When she moved from the trunk to the back seat, the car didn't budge, but now that she's leaned forward, we almost lose the car. The cameraman is allowed to move freely around the copter, potentially interfering with this delicate rescue mission.
Car secured.
Are they securing the car with the cable that is attached to the helicopter? If it were to fall, it would most likely pull the helicopter down with it. Joby, who is supposedly a skilled member of search and rescue and who previously warned Natalie of the dangers of making slight movements in this delicate situation, decides to swing and tug at this cable that is loosely attached to the back of the car. No wonder it slid down and crushed his arm. Strange happens to make the already precarious chopper positioning even more precarious. Are we really only 8 minutes into this thing? Oh no, the gas prod meter is almost up to 8 degrees Celsius times 100. I would be concerned if I had any idea what that meant.
Hey, don't you worry, I'm gonna get you out of here.
If I were Natalie, I would not trust this statement, since the first guy tried to secure the vehicle with a small cable and ended up getting stuck. I'm starting to think that Joby is about to 127 hours his arm off. For a car that was able to generally withstand the beating it took to get into the predicament we are currently in, it seemed pretty easy for him to just rip that door off. Movie doesn't have cliffhangers balls and ends opening scene without a tragic death. Chumps. He must always almost get crushed by things every day for him to laugh and shake his head like these are just normal shenanigans. Also, you've got 3 people dangling from a helicopter over a gorge. One of them isn't strapped in and one has a busted arm. Maybe wait until landing to celebrate.
What do we say we get you home now?
Too bad you can't, because I heard that the engine was going to fail around now. Instead of dealing with the whole getting back with the broken helicopter that is flying in a crevasse that it can't get out of situation, they're just going to smash cut to Caltech and talk about earthquakes. So many scholarships were paid by this scene's Apple product placement. They dragged poor Paul Giamatti into this, didn't they?
Anchorage, Alaska, 1964, a 9.1.
That's very close, Professor, but it was a 9.2. But it's okay. It's not like something like that could be easily Googled.
And spawned a tsunami 82 feet high that leveled Hilo, Hawaii.
I don't mean to nitpick. Actually, I do. It's the whole point. But that tsunami was only 35 feet high. The internet is a beautiful place.
I'd say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Said the earthquake professor just days or even hours before a huge earthquake proves him right.
Volleyball team has their first game this weekend.
There isn't a scene where Blake plays volleyball in the movie.
Dude, I can't believe she's in college already.
You can't believe it? She looks like she's almost 30. Maybe she's been held back for 10 years, and he means he can't believe she finally made it to college.
Let's go check it out.
And now for a message from our sponsor. Alexandra Daddario may have been genetically engineered by scientists to be in movies just like this one.
I'm sure I could figure out a way to fit it in.
No one on set said that's what she said, causing the director to change Ray's line. Just in case you weren't able to glean that Ray and his wife, aka Blake's mother, are no longer together, here are some divorce papers. Also, are divorce papers usually served with big red all caps letters? Seems like this law office is run by a vengeful high school English teacher. Snooping in your daughter's dream box.
The pulse rates are spiking again. They're huge.
They were able to prove their magnetic pulse rate theory literally seconds before a huge earthquake that will then trigger the worst earthquake outbreak in the history of mankind. Talk about bad timing, or bad writing. A 7.1 magnitude quake is nothing to sneeze at, but I don't think it would destroy the Hoover Dam, which is essentially a 6.6 million ton wedge of solid concrete, unless there are Decepticons living under it, and I haven't been able to completely rule that out. Where are this girl's parents? This guy falls like this, but somehow had enough force and momentum to utterly impale his goddamn foot on a piece of rebar. Good catch, seemingly out of shape, Professor. It also worked out that you were right at the edge of the crumble-free zone. Shouldn't have worn a red shirt to work. This woman is a dick, and she didn't even say thank you.
It'll give me an opportunity to catch a volleyball game.
A grown man going to a girl's volleyball game by himself never looks okay. Objects in mirror may be more divorced than they appear.
Fairly sophisticated rescue operation underway.
Based on the first operation we saw from these guys, I think fairly sophisticated may be overselling it.
That I respect what you and your dad have, but I'm never gonna try to change what you have with him.
The classic "I'm not gonna replace your dad now that I'm living with your mom" cliche. It's Stepdad 101, really. Alexandra Daddario isn't my stepdaughter in this scene. Wait, that got weird, but also better, am I right? Damn, I'm impressed. Movie about to set a lot of its action in San Francisco gives me 20 damn minutes of sweeping establishing shots and doesn't once show the Golden Gate Bridge. Of course, the sin I'm removing for that will almost certainly be added back tenfold later, when the movie caves and shows us the earthquake destroying the Golden Gate Bridge. But whatever. Sin removed for restraint, for now. Trump. Look how extra sad you should be about his death via this expositional photograph.
People need to know that we can predict these things now.
No, we cannot. Why are they acting surprised that there's an interview going on? They're the ones that let the reporter in the office.
With the biggest jumps coming from San Francisco.
This guy is bouncing between Russian and Scottish.
More than 20 points higher than what we saw in Nevada.
No, there's no way.
How is there no way? The San Andreas Fault is a very large and well-known fault line. The one in Nevada wasn't big enough for them to already know about it, and Lawrence is the same guy in the classroom that was all, "We're 100 years overdue, and it's not a matter of if, but when." I don't think Lawrence knows where San Francisco is. He just dropped his Sharpie 40 miles south of San Jose.
Who should we call?
Everybody.
I think I might have finally figured out what's wrong with modern screenwriting. It's written for moments instead of story or logic or lines that make sense. Coffee spill meet cute cliche.
You know, you're quite beautiful. Do you mind if I get your phone number for him?
Ollie? When did this turn into a Nick Hornby film?
Where are you from? England.
No. Care to be a little more specific? The CGI work on this rooftop pool party is straight out of The Sims. We generally don't like to make fun of people for their appearance, but goddamn, dude, change your fucking shirt already. Or should I send the director for doing too many takes in the hot sun?
Your other one drowned in an accident?
It's good that Daniel's sister is an asshole, so we didn't have to get in too deep with the Gaines family history to find out what happened to that other girl in those Photoshop pictures that Ray was looking at in Blake's room.
Get to the roof, honey.
This is just the first of many times Ray will completely ignore his civic duty to save his family members and friends. Isn't he supposed to be headed to Nevada? Wouldn't it be frowned upon if a trained rescue pilot would abandon his family and essentially steal an LA rescue helicopter to go rogue and rescue his ex-wife? Thankfully, laptops, electricity, and Wi-Fi all keep working during this record-huge earthquake. The movie rips off the outrunning an earthquake thing from 2012, which, if you're going to rip off a movie, is definitely the one you aim for. Also, it's pretty amazing that no other cars were trying to get out of this very busy building except them when the earthquake started. And even though the floor of the parking garage gets knocked out, it creates this convenient ramp, so their limo doesn't get completely destroyed as it switches floors.
There's a girl trapped in a town.
Oh, f***ing come the f*** on. As if this meet-cute romance wasn't already trying enough. Would-be stepdad, who, granted, is recovering from nearly dying, pieces out completely and leaves his girlfriend's kid to die. Which would happen if only discount younger Hugh Grant here weren't conveniently around to witness it all and figure it all out. He should really be trying to usher his young brother out of the collapsing building. This is the exact same attitude that gets little girls abandoned on top of dams. It seems like it's taking the Hollywood sign longer to come down than the Hoover Dam did. Movie quite casually kills tens of thousands of people, but thankfully not The Rock's ex-wife.
Everybody! There's a rescue helicopter coming!
How many people does she think the rescue chopper is going to hold? Also, that building is coming down fast. I wouldn't listen to the crazy lady that thinks we should all go to the roof either. She should be dead 2 or 5 times now, if not for the Ex Machina fairy. No burns? Sure, okay. Look at the heels. Claire Deering can't hold a candle to Emma Gaines. It's weird how Emma climbs on another rock formation that looks identical to the one she climbed over 15 seconds earlier. Is this the helicopter equivalent of the urban legend about a guy who switches on the cruise control in his van and then climbs back to take a nap? Well, this building's definitely collapsing entirely, just as soon as she gets onto the chopper. In a moment where Emma fears for her life, she decided to stop running toward the helicopter of safety and watch a building collapse. The helicopter and Ray's vision seem to still be operating normally, even though they are both engulfed in a cloud of debris. Ray seems surprised that Emma is there, even though the basket was over 100 pounds heavier than normal. Do you think Citibank and Bank of America funded the movie with the stipulation that their buildings not collapse? Seriously, half the LA population dies in this movie, and we're gonna be happy at the end just because some hot girl from Percy Jackson is still alive. I almost forgot about this bullshit during all that other bullshit. All this time, and she still hasn't thought to reach forward with her left hand and try sliding or tilting the driver's seat forward with the controls that are commonly found within arm's reach of her current position.
Her cell service just went out.
It's a small miracle that she was able to get cell service in a parking garage below a half-crumbled building in the first place.
We're going to get our daughter.
Los Angeles, the city whose citizens that are currently dying pay my salary. them. We've learned from the Fast and Furious franchise, and we know family comes first. Oh, and there's a beam on her legs now. Wonderful. Glad I had no idea about that until now, to the point that I was sinning the seat recliner, dickheads. Visual cues, yo. Give them. I hope he put excellent problem-solving skills and quick thinker in stressful situations on his job application.
I have to get away from these buildings!
Too bad you're in the business district of San Francisco. The only way you could get away from the buildings is by jumping in the bay.
You need to see this.
You better come take a look at this cliche.
Oh, get your laptop. Let's go.
Because the Wi-Fi is definitely still working all over the everywhere.
Hell yeah, man, I'm in.
Am I supposed to believe that Broseph McGee over here is going to hack into a local media outlet after a major earthquake? I guess so. I know times are tough, but this is still looting.
Dad, I got out. I'm okay.
If all the cell towers between San Francisco and LA got knocked out, what are the chances that a landline phone would still work? The Earth just opened up a 50-foot gap between two cities. Pretty sure none of the phone lines would work either. Movie thinks we still need to evidence this guy's a dick.
Hey, did you know that Blake keeps pictures from our San Francisco trip?
Yeah, in her memory box.
The parents that snoop together ultimately stay together. I feel like an experienced helicopter pilot would have been able to anticipate this. He was just flying through a large amount of debris and got hit by a giant piece of building. Even I, a two-time Radio Shack remote control helicopter pilot, knew to keep an eye out for that.
I'm gonna have to auto-rotate down.
Auto what?
We're gonna crash.
Even though auto-rotation is an actual thing, it isn't nearly this dramatic. What he's doing doesn't really look like auto-rotating either. It looks more like normal crashing. Good thing they didn't crash land into a sex shop, otherwise changing out of their fuel-covered clothes would take an unexpectedly sexy turn.
Like it's all stolen.
Alright, well, let's steal it again.
Two wrongs make a right.
I've been needing that truck.
If I saw The Rock trying to take my truck, I'd let him have it, even if I had a gun, because he could probably do that.
Cell towers are down, most of the city's electricity down.
But phone lines are miraculously still working, and this ragtag group of Caltech media hackers are able to take over a local news channel.
Even though it's happening here in California, you will feel it on the East Coast.
Is that even seismologically possible? I'm being serious, while still sinning it until I'm told otherwise. Also, earlier they were only able to predict the 7.1 earthquake that took down the Hoover Dam seconds before it occurred, but now Lawrence is using that same prediction model to predict a 9.5 magnitude earthquake hours before it occurred. Did he get that much better at predicting earthquakes in the amount of time between the two quakes? Ray, a search and rescue expert, seems to think it's okay to walk to the edge of a presumably volatile crevasse. Well, they're definitely not going to jump from one side to the other or anything. Thank God he didn't wear his John Deere hat that day.
Everything okay?
Just thinking about all those dying Los Angeles citizens I abandoned with city property to come save your ass. I really made a moral misstep.
I'm so sorry for how things ended with us, Sam.
Why? You're clearly going to be back together by the end, liar liar style, so...
If you couldn't save our daughter, then nobody could have.
All respect to helicopter rescue pilots, but maybe a lifeguard? Thankfully, this LA Fire and Rescue chopper pilot also knows how to fly planes. I'm guessing if they encounter any hot air balloons or B-2 bombers, he'll be equally as adept.
Do you mind if I ask why you wear two of the same necklaces?
You mind if I ask why you're paying so much attention to... Oh, who am I kidding? I know why you're looking there. We are now leaving plausible things she would know because her dad does search and rescue, and entering why on earth would she have known that territory. Also, why is that cop in the background letting her loot from the fire truck?
That would be Nob Hill. It's the highest point in the city.
Not even close to true. There are several other hills in San Francisco that are higher. In the immortal words of the gas station attendant from Tommy Boy, get yourself a new map. Also, there is no way a British child wouldn't collapse into a fit of giggles after saying Nob Hill. It's the cultural equivalent of an American kid saying Dick Mountain.
It's been a while since I got you to second base.
Wah, wah.
I hope we've given everyone enough warning.
He seriously just said that right before this. For real.
It's gonna be okay, I promise!
Unkeepable earthquake promises.
Die, humans, die!
This movie should have been called It's So Goddamn Lucky Any of Our Main Characters Survived This Biblical Movie thinks if it destroys the Bay Bridge and not the Golden Gate, then I'll go easy on it. But movie is wrong. This is the same thing, and movie knows it.
She's gonna be okay.
Unknowable things.
But how do we get through that?
Apes. Lots and lots of apes. Wait, she pulls this piece of glass out as slow as f***ing possible. She's evil.
You think you can put some weight on it?
Miraculously, he can put weight on it. Whatever steroid protein smoothie the characters in this movie are drinking, I want some.
I see it!
I would hope so. Why was he not going full speed already? The tsunami is about to crest, and they're just moving toward it with not full speed until now? This scene involves several boats racing to climb over a tsunami wave before it crests. They are basically bone dry. Come on. Oh, hello, Daniel. I forgot that you existed because you stopped adding anything to the story after you left Blake. It's too bad that Emma won't know that you just got smashed by a shipping container. Or maybe it would make her even angrier because she didn't get to fucking kill you. Yep, there's that sweet, sweet Golden Gate destruction we as movie-going public so desperately crave. Why are all these people standing around right here when the tsunami was visible at this point? Anyone who's still on the beach deserves to die. Considering this and the heart necklace floating through the water earlier, is James Cameron licensing cliches from his other films for some extra cash? If you actually sit down and watch this movie, you may notice more times, like this one, where they surely should have died but didn't. I'm just getting tired of pointing them out, so here are 10 cents. Are you f***ing kidding me? There's no way that Ray could navigate through all that crap without having something get in the boat's engine. I can't even dream up a fake reason to make it plausible. How many humans are they running over right now, though? Jesus Christ, look at that damage. You know whose point of view I'd like to see in a disaster movie? An insurance claims adjuster.
She's a smart girl. She'd know to head for one of these high-rises.
What? The high-rises that are almost all collapsed except for, like, 3 of them? Tell me again why a smart girl would go to the top of a high-rise during a massive earthquake. I'm listening. I want to hear that reasoning. Pay no attention to my wet shirt or my super cleavage. We've got to tend to your leg. Movie thinks this kiss is in any way earned.
Oh, some water.
In this way unfinished floor of a skyscraper under construction. Should be no problem. BRB. Roland Emmerich watched this movie and, in this order, got a boner, jerked off, and filed a copyright lawsuit. This asshole is ignoring the rescue-needing citizens of multiple cities in pursuit of rescuing his own daughter, and he should be fired, court-martialed, fired a second time, and publicly flogged. No one thinks to break a window. Blake seems to be selectively resourceful. The laser pointer still works after being underwater. Every laser pointer I've ever owned just stopped working after a day for no reason.
I'm bringing her back. I promise.
Uncapable. Oh, what the f*** do I care? My favorite thing about this movie is how little it relies on cheap sex appeal. What was I saying? Is Ray really going to be defeated by a folding table and some office chairs jamming a doorway? Earlier, the man pulled an actual door off an actual car. I'm getting real tired of everyone ignoring the giant gash in Ben's leg. Ray was, for some reason, unable to do this 3 minutes ago. Instead of backing out the boat through the hole Emma just made, they decided to drive all the way through the now collapsing building and tear through the other side of the building like parchment paper. Skip. I didn't try hard enough before, cliche. A key CPR tip. The length of time someone's brain has been deprived of oxygen is completely irrelevant, as long as you perform chest compressions with stubborn conviction and say things like, I'm not gonna lose you too. So he gets the redemption of saving a daughter from drowning. And all that had to happen was millions of people died, 2 major cities are destroyed, and the map of the world is literally changed, but his daughter didn't drown. So that's nice.
Thanks to local experts who were able to give ample warning of the massive quake.
The news in their version of America is painfully optimistic. They aren't looking at this in terms of LA and San Francisco being mostly full of dead people. This movie hits most of the key cliches. Lead character wanting to get back together with his ex, his child is in peril, meet cute fall in love during crisis, so on and so forth. But the one thing we're missing here is a rescued pet. Oh look! The Rock, the Golden Gate Bridge, a brilliant sunset. This couldn't be more the American version of a Harry Potter ending if it tried.
I found this on the boat.
That necklace stayed around her neck through the entire film, but falls off of her while she's sitting on the boat. Did he find it floating in a giant container of water in the boat? I hope so, because if not, there's nothing to explain why it was floating around in water by itself during the title sequence of the movie.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Emma.
Oh Jesus, Ray!
Oh god! Jesus Christ!
Oh my god!
Oh god! Oh god!
Oh my god.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's Blake!
Oh my god, Blake.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Who should we call?
Everybody.
Break this information down succinctly. The Klingon Empire has roughly 50 years of life left to it.
You did good.
Superman does good. You doing well.
Which is why when I get out, I'm gonna put a hurt on him so bad he's gonna wish his mother had kept her legs closed.